All right, so we're back from Christmas break, and I was waiting for a lot more information to come out for season 8 before I brought the channel back. But now that it's back, expect a lot more consistent videos, right? So there are going to be two things that we want to talk about here because of the trailers and all of the stuff that came out over the last couple days. We're going to talk about the new Kings Canyon and what that's going to mean as far as gameplay. Hopefully with this channel, we're going to go a lot more in depth with how things affect gameplay and not just spewing out news. And also what we know about Fuse so far. We're expecting more information on Fuse, especially if another character trailer comes out. So I'm going to go over what I think is going to happen with Fuse and how he's going to affect the game and his abilities, and how the new Kings Canyon is going to affect gameplay, right? So let's start with Kings Canyon, because in the trailer, Fuse's partner blows up a bunch of junk, right? And a lot of stuff happens. So what's going to change with Kings Canyon? Because that's going to be coming back into the rotation. I'm not really sure how the rotation is going to work going forward, but Kings Canyon will be back in rotation. One big thing, Slum Lakes. This is going to be a new point of interest, and absolutely, Kings Canyon needed a major point of interest. People tend to drop hot at Market, not so much lately at some of the other points, but since there is no Skull Town, there's no like classic point of interest to get people excited about Kings Canyon. Hopefully Slum Lakes will kind of do that. I know we had the crypto thing, but that's way on the far side of the other side of the map. So not maybe always according to the direction of the ship, if that's going to be a hot drop, but it looks like Slum Lakes could potentially be a really hot drop for the people who are looking to just get into the action and get out. It looks pretty interesting, nice color buildings. It looks like the map is colored a little bit different, so that combined with the buildings, it should look pretty nice. It looks like it has a few buildings to go into. I'm not really sure how this is going to play as far as cover points, right? Because there seemed to be a little space between those buildings. So one thing I think is super important about a hot drops is being able to get into cover. I think that's why Skull Town was so popular, because you could drop hot, you could get into cover, you can get guns. If you don't get a gun, you can move from cover to cover, and like that's like the hallmark signs of like a good drop spot. And hopefully Slum Lakes will do that. We should know pretty soon. Also, we don't really see a whole lot of this in the trailer except right at the end, when the ship goes down, when it gets blown up and then Fuse has to go down to the ground. My question is, will the shipwreck have a point of interest? It looks like in the trailer when everything's all blown up and then he's standing there with Bloodhound and with Caustic, it seems like the shipwreck is going to be a point of interest. It could just be trailer magic, but hopefully that shipwreck will affect the terrain and also give people another place to drop. Because again, I think, you know, the great thing about these map changes is giving people a hot drop or a good rotation spot, giving people a spot with more loot, because Kings Canyon definitely needs more spots to go loot. Some of the points, the smaller points of interest are not really used a lot. So it's going to be great. Hopefully, if the shipwreck is a new point of interest that you can go, there'll be tons of loot there, right? And hopefully it will affect like the rotations and stuff. One cool thing is the loot drones. The loot drones are actually in the trailer. It's huge to be able to get a loot drone on World's Edge, especially like a gold one, to get something nice out of it, hopefully maybe an armor on a hot drop or something, and those loot drones are going to be there. The tick bots aren't really that popular with the community, so it's great to have the loot drones back. And what I'm hoping for is what's going on with the fight night drops. Like, the fight night drops were an amazing alternatives to tick bots and loot drones, because you could just jump right in. If you don't want to run around looting for 5 minutes, you could jump right in and get those blue items. You know, you don't have to worry about attachments. You can grab some ammo, grab a blue shield, and just go and fight, right? And that was a great thing about the fight night drops, and hopefully they bring that back in some capacity. I'm hoping that's not just something that they just throw away, right? So the combinations of new points of interest, the loot drones, and hopefully if they bring back the fight night drops, you can keep people into action, right? And that'll keep the season kind of exciting, right? So you're not just looting for a long period of time. Now with Kings Canyon being blown up, I'm hoping we get more rotations, more balance, especially on the market side with the jump towers. The rotations on that side are really fast, while the rotations on the other side of the map are really slow. So hopefully, since things are getting blown up, Kings Canyon will get balanced a little bit with how fast or slow you can rotate. So that's the big thing. I think balancing the map, and I think if they're going to be blowing stuff up, hopefully there'll be some good things happening with the actual balance of the map and not just changing the way it looks. It's important that the gameplay changes. Now, Fuse Fuse has a tactical and an ultimate, of course. The tactical is, I believe they're calling it airburst grenade. I'm not really sure, where you fire a cluster bomb into the air and it kind of explodes. Apparently this doesn't deal a lot of damage, which is great. But it's going to be interesting how this works early game when people don't have any shields yet. So if you hit health damage, how much damage is that going to deal? Probably not a lot. It probably will do maybe like some stun or something. We don't know yet. Well, we're waiting for more information for that. And his ultimate is the end game bumps that we've been seeing in some of the later circles, like circle 4 and 5, where these bombs drop on the ground. It was part of the last few weeks, and you would shoot them and they would explode. Now there's some good things and some things that you probably should be concerned about. I think the good thing is, I don't think, well, first of all, I don't think these bombs, you have to shoot them for them to explode. I think that was just part of just the teaser of the bombs. It's probably going to be you just drop them and they explode. So the good thing is, late game, you can flush people out of cover. There's more of a tactical approach to it, especially when there are tons of teams in game, right? You can really take advantage of those offensive explosive abilities. The downside is you're going to see a lot more last circle zoning, right? We saw that with Watson back in the day when she was really strong, especially in some of the pro play. We see that with Gibby, with his explosion. We see that a lot with Caustic, just absolutely dominating the final circle. And this will be another character that will probably compound that. So you may see some meta shifts in late game with some of the high level play if you've got a lot more characters that can zone the final circle, right? And it's an auto win, especially for a character like Caustic. It could be an auto win. And this character could dangerously close to that, and maybe not. So that's how Fuse could affect gameplay. So I think I'm excited to see what Fuse does. But again, some of my concerns right now, especially with a more aggressive character coming into the game that can shoot bombs and that can blow stuff up, is more aggressive damage spam. And that's something we should always worry about, right? Especially with tacticals like Caustic, Revenant, Bang Smoke, really making it where it's hard to see. And even Gibby, Bangalore, with their ultimates, there's a lot going on with abilities, and I'm pretty sure Fuse is going to contribute to that, right? So that's my opinion on the update. That's Fuse, that's Kings Canyon. Hopefully, now that we're back, I've got the channel back. What I want to do with this channel is, there are so many channels doing news and stuff like that. I wanted to add a channel that went more into analyzing the changes to the game and analyzing the direction of the game more from an analytical standpoint, and not just hitting you guys with the news. So let me know what you think about that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.